Snuggle in, little ones, while I put more wood on the fire. It's time for your bedtime story.
Yay! Yes. Can you tell us about the burrowing?
But you've heard that one countless times.
Yes.
Very well.
Yes.
Settle down. Let's begin. A long time ago, when my great-great-great-great-great-grandmother was a girl, humans all lived on the surface. But they didn't treat the surface very well. They had abundant sunlight, plants and animals, but they chose to block the sun with dirty clouds, and they killed the animals with plastics and pollution. They were making the air unbreathable and the planet unlivable. This dismayed Mother Nature.
She cried, didn't she, Granny?
Yes, she cried. She cried torrents and rivers of tears, hoping mankind would see. But when their houses flooded, they only shrugged.
And then she flew.
I'm getting there. She blew. She blew and blew and blew in anger, but mankind only shrugged. Then she
burned.
Yes, she burned. Yes, she scorched the earth and dried her tears, and the dirt became hostile and hard to the plants. But still, mankind didn't see nature's message. So she called together all the kingdoms of the earth. The day of the council, each envoy took their throne. The sky, the animals, the water, the plants. But one throne was empty. It was man's. The other kingdoms bleated and shouted and wailed, "The disrespect! The arrogance!" Mother Nature called them all to order.
Brothers, sisters, siblings, the time has come. The world mankind has created for itself cannot go on. I beseech you all, get a message to them any way that you can, or tragedy will befall us all.
And try they did. The sky darkened and stabbed at man's creation. The ocean rose up and threw itself on the land. All the kingdoms screamed, but man had forgotten how to listen. Then, one day, a tiny little kingdom, wearing a tiny little crown, made mankind listen.
The little crown.
The little crown spread itself across the world to all the corners of the globe. It spread between people through a handshake or a kiss. And humans became afraid of each other, afraid of closeness. Some were not afraid. Some said,
"No, the little crown cannot hurt us. It is weak. We are strong."
they were the followers of the Tangerine Man. They were arrogant, and they were the first to fall. The others were still afraid. To save themselves, they went
underground. Underground.
They went underground. Some had homes in little steel boxes within the earth, and there they lived, without fresh air and sunlight, hiding from the little crown. Too scared to go back up, they went sideways and down. They tunneled to each other and created a rabbit warren of little metal box homes. Eventually, mankind decided to venture up to the surface. A select few, led by the bravest and the strongest, made their way to the surface to investigate the wasteland the Earth had become. What they found upon reaching the surface was life as they had never known. Blinking in the sharp sunlight, man saw that the Earth had not become lifeless and barren as they had expected. It had reawakened, and all manner of creature, plant and beast roamed freely. So entranced by this beauty before them, man waded further into the sunlight. As they climbed out, as if newly birthed, a swarm of bees as large as apricots descended on them, buzzing with fury and indignation. Man scurried back down in fear. The seekers hurried back to spread the word of all they'd seen. They chatted excitedly about the trees, bowing heavy with rich fruits, and the air as clean and sweet and crisp as any they had ever breathed. They spoke for hours about the crystal clear running rivers, full of plump, fat fish, their scales glistening brilliantly in the sunlight. A sobering hush fell upon the gathered crowd.
Why did you not bring some of these wonders down to show us?
Asked a voice. The seekers hung their heads.
We could not venture further,
was the reply. They shared the frightening tale of the bees. And so it was decided that they would try again. Better prepared for their second expedition, the seekers believed themselves invincible. Once they reached the surface, they fell silent.
This is even more spectacular than you described. It is time to rejoin the surface world.
Almost as soon as this utterance had left her lips, a rumbling began, as if from a volcano or an earthquake. A herd of gigantic elephants were fast approaching, headed directly for the seekers. The seekers retreated below the surface yet again. A giant trunk descended into the opening.
Mankind, due to your previous transgressions, you are no longer welcome on the surface. You will have the opportunity to throw yourself upon the mercy of Mother Nature, and she has agreed to hear your plea.
In light of this new information, the seekers turned on their heels and ventured back down. The rest of mankind were awaiting their return with bated breath. The bravest and the strongest relayed the message from Mother Nature. Once again, a sobering hush fell. It was decided that mankind would hold a meeting with Mother Nature to negotiate their place on the surface. A selection of the bravest, strongest and wisest volunteers were chosen for the new mission. They took with them gold, sapphire and precious metals. Armed with these riches, they set off on the journey to the surface, confident that Mother Nature would be impressed by such bounty and would gladly allow them to rejoin the surface. The meeting was held at a sacred opening under the Tree of Life. Mankind sat and waited until a swarm of fireflies approached, whispering,
She is coming. Make way for Mother Nature, for she has much to discuss with you.
Mother Nature approached and saw mankind's gifts. She smiled kindly.
What would I need with such offerings? For these are already mine. You have come to discuss your place on Earth, and I will tell you the decree. Once Earth and nature have been fully restored, we will reconsider your case. Until then, you will continue to live underground. You will learn to listen to the earth and work in harmony. Only then will you be allowed back on the surface.
Ashamed and embarrassed, they set back on their journey to take their place in banishment underground.